Steve Jewin, MMA Mania.
All right, Sirwan, you are now on with Steve Jewin of MMA Mania. Go ahead, Steve.
Sirwan, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing really good, thanks. And I'm really looking forward to this Bellator 161 fight with Joe Warren. How is your training and preparation going for the fight?
Honestly, I feel like this is the best camp because I had a little bit of off-season and I built my body up and did a lot of strength conditioning, and I've been in Sweden too to train with my new striking coach from Sweden top team, and I feel better than ever. And I think the biggest difference is I'm motivated. I feel like I'm 18 again and hungry.
That's good to hear. Now, is part of that motivation that things didn't go the way you wanted in the fight with Joe Manglo?
Yeah, I mean, I think the motivation comes from that I started training harder again, and I feel like when I trained hard, that stimulated me to fight and just to be mean, and I don't know. Yeah, and of course, it comes from the loss because I definitely feel like last fight didn't show the true me, and that's why I was so upset, like the way I fought. I was so upset, like the way I performed.
Yeah, I was honestly expecting a different fight from you in your debut in Bellator because I kind of thought you got robbed in that UFC Fight Night fight with Frankie Science, so I was expecting you to have a big answer to that when you came to Bellator.
And I know, and that's the expectation I want people to have on me. But honestly, I just went through the motion. I wasn't that hungry for my Bellator debut. I was like, you know what, whatever, I'm just going to go in and fight, and I didn't really have a heart there, and my motivation was not that high, but nothing to take away from my opponent, but I just feel like beat myself.
Now, were you surprised when you saw what Joe Manglo went on to do to Darian Caldwell? Did you think maybe in hindsight that was a little bit of a testament to that he was a tougher opponent than you expected? Because I don't think Darian Caldwell was expecting that either.
No, you know what? You can't take anything from Joe Manglo. He's a powerhouse. He's very experienced. He has double the fights I have, I think. And the guy's been in several gyms. He's been feeling how world-class fighter feels. And I think he's undefeated in 135 too. I mean, the guy fights good 55ers. He got good 55ers in Bellator. So, yeah, he's definitely a tough guy. And yeah, but I feel I just feel like the way I lost the fight, it was more about me than him. But he's a great fighter.
You talked about experience and him having a lot of experience. Well, Joe Warren has a lot of experience too, not just in MMA, but in Greco-Roman wrestling and wrestling competition going all the way back to college. So how do you feel about facing such an experienced wrestler?
I don't know. He's just another name, man. I mean, he's a great wrestler, but it's MMA and it's different. And I can tell, like, the way he fights, he's nervous, and I feel like he doesn't have the confidence he normally has. I think it's a false confidence. The way he carries himself, I feel it's a false confidence, and I think he has his back against the wall. He doesn't know if he's going to retire or if he still has it. I bet those questions in his head, and I mean, I just feel hungry and motivated for this fight, and I can't wait for September 16th.
When you say false confidence, are you also referring to the fact that Joe Warren's nickname is the baddest man on the planet? Do you think he's earned that title?
Yeah. I don't know how he earned it, but I don't think he's the best man on the planet. I definitely don't think so. And even if he has, I'll prove him wrong,
But like you said earlier about Joe Manglo, you got to give him respect. He's a multiple-time Bellator champion, so there's not a lot of people who can say they've been champion in 2 weight classes. No. I mean, one thing he has, he's a special individual. What is his name? Joe Warren, because the guy has a world championship in Greco-Roman. It's one of the toughest sports I know because I'm from Sweden. And in Sweden, we have great Greco-Roman wrestlers, and I know what kind of athletes they are. They're very, very tough people. So, I mean, he's a nice fighter, but I just see this is MMA, and I think like he's on his way down, and I'm on my way up, and I believe still like I'm gonna face the best Joe Warren ever. But
I just believe in myself. That's how I see it, because I've been training so hard and I'm so motivated, and I feel like I'm in a great place right now.
Speaking of Sweden and MMA, that is something I wanted to ask you about because I've seen that growing for a while now. That scene just seems to be getting bigger and stronger, and obviously the great reception to fighters like Alexander Gustafsson has helped it along. What do you think of the scene as it is today?
I think the scene is growing, but I feel like we have a couple of talents that's coming up, but it's a little bit on. I feel like once we had like so many talents, like UFC caliber fighters, I think those people are already in the UFC, and I feel like maybe the next generation is not really there. I don't think they don't put in the time they need to do it, but we still have a couple of guys. Like, I think they're gonna do a big splash in the MMA circuit.
All right. Any names in particular then that you think we should be looking out for? Maybe guys that are going to get signed to Bellator down the road.
There's what's his name? One guy called Oliver Enkamp. He's a karate guy. He's like 5-0, and the one guy, his name is David Tamer. His buddy's in the UFC from Sweden too. So I think he is coming up. A very, very good striker.
All right. Yeah, I know the name Tamer well. So, yeah, that's definitely going to be a fighter to look out for, as all of the names you mentioned.
Yeah.
So, what is your plan if Joe Warren wants to go for takedowns multiple times? We've already talked about his wrestling. Are you just going to look to, sprawl and block, or are you going to try to counter with takedowns of your own? What's your strategy there?
I mean, I'm ready for both. I'm ready for sprawl. I hurt him with my knees, elbows, sweep him from my tie clinch, or I can double leg him. I can wrestle with him too. I mean, I have good wrestling, and he cannot look past my wrestling. If he comes in, I will double leg him. I will time with my double leg, or take him down against the cage. I have a great wrestling against the cage. So I feel like I'm all around. I can do whatever.
And as we saw with Darian Caldwell just recently, if you rely on the wrestling too much, you can run straight into a guillotine choke, and I'm sure you'd be happy to win with a submission.
Of course I will be happy. I mean, whatever I can have, and I definitely want to finish. I don't want to put it to the judges. I want to put it on an exciting performance and finish. So knockout. It doesn't really matter.
What kind of reception are you expecting for this fight in Texas? How do you think the fans are going to receive you there?
I mean, I don't believe. You know what? It's hard to say because Joe is American. I'm not American, and but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people like him. I don't know really why, but that's the way I feel it on social media. A lot of people wants to see him lose.
You're not wrong about that. He does draw a lot of detractors. I think it's that whole baddest man on the planet thing we talked about earlier. It rubs some people the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, maybe when they see him, he's American, I'm not American, maybe they will cheer for him, but I don't know. But like on the internet, it feels like they want me to slaughter him. So, and it's just funny if they're rooting for me, that gives me energy. But at the same time, if they're not rooting for me, that gives me motivation too to put him out.
That's true.
And maybe even if they maybe want him to win, but afterwards, I hope that I will gain some fans when I beat him up.
I'm sure you'll gain a lot of fans from this fight, and I think anybody that's been paying attention for a while will already have been a fan, because like I said, you had some great performances in UFC, and one that I thought you got robbed in, so I really want to see you do well in Bellator and establish yourself in this promotion. And who do you think is next if Joe Warren goes well? What do you want next in Bellator?
It really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not in a rush. It's going to be a long journey. I will become a champion, and if I become a champion in 2 years, 1 year, 3 years, the end result will be the same. That's how I see it.
Well, then we'll take our time and watch as it unfolds. But before I let you go, Sirwan, I want to give you this chance to plug teammates, sponsors, social media, anything you want to throw out there. Please go ahead.
I want to thank my team in Sweden Top Team, American Top Team, Vaporfly, Alienware, all bevakning, and all my coaches and all my friends, my family. I mean, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank you for doing this interview with me.
It's my pleasure, and I want to thank Dan for helping me set it up, and thank Bellator as well. And we look forward to a great fight against Joe Warren at the HEB Center in Cedar Park.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve.